Hello and welcome to A Game of Two Halves, the South Wales Sports Show brought to you by sports journalism students here at the University of South Wales Atrium campus. I'm your host Sam Hill, and in today's show we will visit Cardiff Parkrun to meet the volunteers whose time and dedication keep the community on the move. And we will also be joined in studio by our resident expert Reef Parker to discuss Wales's draw for the 2027 Rugby World Cup. But first, here are your headlines. The FAW have announced they've eclipsed a tremendous milestone in women's football. Across Wales, more than 20,000 women and girls are now actively registered to play the sport. The Football Association has seen female participation numbers increased by 58% over the last 3 years, with the milestone initially targeted for 2026. In the world of snooker, Mark Williams has exited the UK Championship in the second round. The Welshman was beaten 6-3 by China's Zhenshu Pang, who received a standing ovation in York, rounding off his win with a superb break of 116. And in rugby, Wales have discovered who they'll face in Australia for the 2027 World Cup. Steve Tandy's side, who are well and truly rebuilding ahead of the tournament, will face off against England, Tonga and Zimbabwe in Pool F. The first story we bring you today is from the Cardiff City Stadium, where head coach Brian Barry Murphy provided an update on injured star midfielder Ruben Colwill. Archie Tooth brings you this one.
I'm here outside the Cardiff City Stadium to attend Brian Barry Murphy's press conference ahead of Huddersfield Town on the weekend. The main talking point is that Ruben Colwill successfully underwent surgery on his ankle. He's expected to be sidelined for 3 months, and Brian confirmed the player's decision was for the betterment of his long-term health.
Ruben weighed up the pros and cons of whether to have surgery or whether to not. We've a brilliant physio, James Rowland, and a specialist who did the surgery advised him that it was, in their opinion, the best route. And I think it's always. I've had a lot of surgery myself. I think you're always you want to come back as quickly as possible. You want to make sure you're doing the right thing for your body in the present moment, but also further down the line. And I'm sure Ruben's made the right decision.
The Wales international has been a key player for Cardiff City this season, totalling 9 goal involvements. However, Brian was confident that other options in his squad can step in when needed.
I just think it provides a real opportunity for the rest of the squad. You know, we've brilliant players who can play in the same position as Ruben in a very different way, and now the opportunity is there for those guys to step up and to show what they can do, and I'm sure they will, like they did on Saturday previously.
The Bluebirds proved last weekend that even without Colwill on the side, they can get results, beating Mansfield Town 3-0. And Brian Barry Murphy assured fans in the presser today that even without their star man, they can continue to build on this impressive League One campaign so far.
Now we head to Butte Park, where Cardiff Parkrun has become a real community hub, thanks to the volunteers who make it possible every week. Archie reports.
Since Cardiff launched its first parkrun back in 2008, it's grown into a free, friendly event powered entirely by volunteers. Every Saturday, they help bring hundreds together. People come here to move, to talk, and to feel part of something bigger. I'm here to find out why Parkrun is so vital to the local community.
I've been coming to this one since 2018, so what's that, about 7 years? I come along just because it's really good fun. Gets me up on a Saturday morning. There's a real community atmosphere, and it just feels good to get some exercise in at the beginning of the weekend, and then you can have a nice weekend and relax and go out and do whatever you want to do. So after COVID, really noticed that coming back together just with a group of people, even if you don't know the people, just the kind of really buzzing atmosphere is a really positive thing. So it gives you a lift sort of at the beginning of the weekend. You've got up to 900 people doing this race, it's between about 600 and 900. So in terms of just the kind of community and people's health and well-being, it's got a massive lift.
Volunteers are the backbone of Cardiff Parkrun. Jane Stetchfield is one of the regulars, and she told me why helping out each week matters so much to the community.
Probably volunteered for 2 or 3 years now. I enjoy it. It's a lovely way to start the Saturday. I've benefited from Parkrun over the years when I used to come and regularly run it. I feel it's important to give something back. You feel part of something. I feel part of the Parkrun organisation, and I think that all those people now will go off. They'll go and have a coffee. They'll have a chat. There's a lot of people go off to various different local coffee houses and carry on the social aspect of having done parkrun. So I do think it is important. Without volunteers, it wouldn't be able to go ahead. it would not be able to go ahead. I think there's a critical number of volunteers that you would need. There were 8 of us managing the queuing system, the funnels, probably about 5 or 6 people doing the barcode. You know, if you need that number of people in order to make it be able to function. It wouldn't be able to go ahead without the volunteers. Absolutely not.
They're essential, totally essential. There's probably 50 people here, 50 volunteers they like to have, because you have to have volunteers all around the course. And there's actually a really good volunteer community. It's kind of, you know, people know each other and there's a real vibe, and you can see on the course there's a buzz. The volunteers really enjoy it. Got this two-way thing between, so the volunteers, some of them will be shouting encouragement, and then people are thanking the volunteers all the way around. When I can, I run and I volunteer. So I do the run, finish and then immediately put on the bib and do some scanning so I can volunteer and run, which is nice.
In the end, Cardiff Park Run is about more than 5k. In the words of runners and volunteers, it's about community, connection and feeling part of something bigger. Archie Tooth, Butte Park, Cardiff.
For many visually impaired people, finding accessible sport can be a real challenge. But at Central View Leisure Centre, 360 Ability Sport is changing that. The company's founder, Steve Jones, is hoping to build confidence and new skills for those with visual impairments.
So today, why is it you wanted to bring blind baseball to Cardiff then?
Things were going well, then COVID kicked in, and so we've decided today that it's time for a restart to try and jumpstart it again and get some more people interested. So
what impact can sports like this then have on people with visual impairments?
Yeah, a lot of people with visual impairments, they live quite sedentary lives. They don't have much physical activity. Maybe walking is a part of their life, but they don't always fully appreciate that there are opportunities to do something a little bit more active. So a sport like blind baseball has been conceived in such a way as to make running quite an active part of it.
So what do you hope participants take away from today then?
I hope today that they get a little taste of what's involved in blind baseball, and a sense that, yeah, maybe this is something that I could try again. This is not the only practice. There'll be a practice in Swansea. Holly and her team do a great job, and we really hope that this will grow, because it's growing in other parts of the UK, and it's possible that this particular version will become the Paralympic version of blind baseball. And wouldn't it be great if there was a GB team that's playing at quite a high level, maybe with a couple of Welsh players in there as well.
And finally then, what's one thing you say to someone who maybe didn't come along today that you tried to get them to encourage them to come along and try blind baseball?
Drum up a little bit of courage, go along to your first one. I think you'll be surprised with the friendships that you'll find, and you'll start to feel a little bit fitter if you go along regularly, and that all helps with mental health and general well-being.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
All right.
Now we will hear from second year Ben Withers on his exciting new opportunity in the industry.
So I'm Ben Withers, I'm a second year sports journalism student here at USW, and my aspirations are to be a social media manager in some sort of sporting aspect. In my first year, I was the media manager at AFC Slope Guide. They were absolutely brilliant with me. They let me have complete control of everything, and I felt like that's part of the reason why I had such a good first year, is because of the constant, oh, you need to get this out, you need to get that out for us. In my second year now, I've moved on to be a media and communications intern at Cardiff City, and although I'm obviously not leading the social media coverage, it's been incredible to see how a professional organisation does things. It's made me realise just how brilliant it is being part of a team, and I think I'm best suited towards not only being part of a team but also leading a team. Comparing the start of when I was at Cardiff to now, I'd say I've definitely become more confident, and when I'm in the press room now, I like speaking to everyone really, and I'd say I never would have done that in my first week. Yeah, so tomorrow I will be starting a new placement, working as a part-time Welsh language journalist for Golwg, which is the largest solely Welsh language news organisation in Wales, and I can't wait to get started with them. It's going to be a great experience working all across the valleys and reporting on stories, and hopefully I get my hands into some really good sporting and other aspects of journalism. So luckily, because of the uni, I get a lot of Welsh language emails to do with opportunities. I saw in my inbox one day that there was an opportunity with Golwg. They were offering 5 places for students to improve their journalism skills. I thought that looks absolutely perfect to me. Put an application in, got to interview, and then luckily I was one of the 5 of 37 that got picked. I'm a very passionate Welsh speaker as well, so it's a fantastic opportunity to develop my Welsh language skills, which I'll admit aren't perfect. But yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be for 4 months. It'll end in March. It's an incredible opportunity, and to be honest, I can't wait to get started.
Before we come back to the studio, here is what to expect from the next programme airing at 2:15 p.m.
Back, there was a tumour at the bottom of my spine in the sacrum. Turned out to be something extremely rare called LCH.
Background and all different ages, and that was the one.
The clubhouse has been flooded, coming in through, I think, the gates.
We are now joined in studio by resident rugby expert Reef Parker to discuss the Wales draw for the 2027 Rugby World Cup in Australia. So Reef, talk to me, what did you make of the draw?
I think it's an exciting prospect having to face our rivals England. I think the group is we could definitely get through. Tonga is a tough challenge, they're a very physical side and they can change a game in an instant, so we'll have to be wary there. And as for Zimbabwe, they're a completely different challenge. They're a team that Wales don't play very often, so I think it'll be hard to know what to expect from them. But as for England, I feel like as Wales fans, we can't really expect much of a performance for this World Cup. I don't think this cycle is going to be our time, but I still think it's an exciting period and it's interesting to see. Once you get to the tournament, you never know how you're going to fare.
And with the England game, obviously people will be thinking back to 2015 Rugby World Cup where you knocked England out as the hosts. Can Steve Tandy's side win this group? Or if not, how do you think the group stage will go for them?
I think it's entirely possible. A tournament is a completely different kettle of fish. You could be dealing with injuries, you could be dealing with people out for suspensions, and just the pressure is something that you've got to consider in a fact with these games. So I would never write us off against England, but I would say that if we beat them, we're doing very well. It's not something that I'm expecting. So I expect us to go through in second place.
And as a sort of general thought, how far do you think Wales could go in this tournament? Is the expectation to get to the final or that area?
The expectation is certainly not to get to the final. As I say, we're still in a rebuilding period, but we'll have to wait and see.
And finally, we head to Jenner Park, where Barry Town United have outlined their plans to climb back to the top of the Welsh footballing pyramid.
With ambition to climb higher up the Welsh footballing pyramid, Barry Town United has outlaid a new 2025 to 2030 strategy. The plan outlines key priorities, from strengthening grassroots pathways to enhancing matchday experiences, and today's launch sets the roadmap for the club's new exciting chapter.
The main ambition is to build up a platform and a roadmap of something that we can follow to make sure we achieve our goals in 5 years' time. We're going to make sure that one of our key priorities and our key focuses is on fan experience. So when fans come here and they leave at the end of the game, they go away saying, "Oh, I had a fantastic time at Barry Town today. It wasn't just the football. You know, we'll have halftime games. We'll have a lot of different stuff on."
And the secret for maximising our impact in the success of Barry Town sits in unlocking the relationships within the community.
Our game is built on the collective strength of all of our clubs and the association together. So to have clubs be able to launch their 5-year plans and tell the world their direction of travel, the road that they're going to go and go drive down for driving their football club forward is hugely important. It keeps everyone aligned to what good looks like, what success looks like, in particular in a results industry where we can all be very emotional over do we get 3 points or not. To have a real clear structure around how a football club is going to grow, I think it's just fundamentally important.
What you've got, I think, is happening is in the north. You're starting to see that
they really understood what community meant and what the club was about.
Our fans are the heartbeat and the other lifeblood of this club, and it is very crucial that they're on board with this. And you know, we've had a good set of fans here today who will come away from this in really positive. Very emotional day because everyone who attended here today loves the club and loves Barry, and that's just what we want to keep. We want to keep Barry in the hearts of our fans.
The club hopes this strategy will bring results on and off the pitch. For Barry Town United, the next 5 years begin today. Archie Tooth, Jenner Park, Barry.
That's all we have time for on today's episode of A Game of Two Halves. You can catch us live again on USW SJTV for the next show hosted by Ben Thomas at 2:15 p.m. I've been your host Sam Hill, and from myself and the team, thank you and goodbye.